Hey guys, what's up? It's Katie and I'm back with another Marvel Contest of Champions video, and today we're going to be going over all of the boss fights from this month's Uncollected event. I know I kind of was able to, I was unable to live stream it tonight because I've had a lot of stuff going on, so I figured I could do this during the day and upload it for you guys all to watch. Now, some of these bosses are quite a doozy, like Doom here, but we'll get into that once we reach Dr. Doom. So let's get into the first boss, which is Kang, and Kang has enhanced Special 2 bias, selective time stream, so every 20 seconds he will regen all of his health instantly unless he has a shock on him, and no, you cannot heal block him. This is just like how he was in Variant 3, so you either have to Zerg him down in 20 seconds or less, or use a champ who has a shock ability like Nebula, Warlock, or Sentinel. And he also has Languor, so if your power goes to 0, you're gonna take a lot of damage, so don't let your power go to 0. But overall, he's not a hard boss. Definitely try to bait out those special ones. Just because it says Special 2 bias doesn't mean he's only going to throw Special 2. So as you can see here, you can totally bait out those special ones. But overall, Kang's not a hard boss. Brought Nebula in here to get the shock on so he can't get that regen every 20 seconds, which is good because if he does, it is a giant pain in the butt. But if you don't have Nebula or someone with a shotgun and you can hold your combo, Aegon is great for this once you get his combo up. Star-Lord also can, wreck it. So now we're moving on to the second boss, which is a Nihilist with enhanced armor break, kinetic reactor, bubble shield, aggressive, extend, and rage. Now, a Nihilist is already a pain in the butt to fight, and then you add in rage, and oh boy, does it make you want to rage. Now, you can bring in a Mystic to nullify the rage if you have one. So Symbiote Supreme would be great for this. Get those staggers on. Hood works really well too. But Archangel is the man for this month's, or I should say mutant rather, for this month's Uncollected, because he just wrecks the majority of the bosses. I thought I had more footage with this guy, but apparently I didn't. So moving on to Symbiote Supreme with enhanced energy attacks, electric fluctuations. So electric fluctuations are when the buffs are reduced, he can nullify as well. The buffs are reduced and he can nullify them as well, so that kind of sucks. He has improved power gain, he's immune to bleed, he has EMP modification, which is basically the same as the Mr. Sinister boss in 6.2, so don't bring in a champ that gets a lot of buffs like Angela or any other cosmic, but you really don't want to bring in a cosmic for this guy. And he also has destructive feedback, which is the same node that is in Act 6.2.4. So when he has this little yellow shield up, don't hit him, don't get hit by him, and don't parry. Otherwise, you're going to take a lot of damage. So you definitely want to bait out those special ones. Don't push him to a special 2. Otherwise, when he has that shield up, even if you're blocking it, you're going to take the full brunt of that damage. Now, you can bring in someone like a power drain champ to help you out in draining so he doesn't get to that special 2, or you can bring in an evasion champ that'll fully evade that special 2, so then you really don't have to worry about it. But really, it's that shield is really what you want to watch out for. If you haven't been into Act 6.2.4 yet, this is kind of a good preparation for it. I had a lot of practice with it before doing these fights, so it can be kind of a pain in the butt because you got to pay attention to that shield. So now we're moving on to Red Skull with Mystic Ward and Advanced Armor Up, and I hate the fact that they gave someone who gets a ton of armors advanced armor up. Kinetic transference, oscillate, and Sixth Sense. So basically Sixth Sense, if you've played map 7, you know what this is. If you haven't, basically what Sixth Sense is he has a 50% chance to auto block all medium and light attacks. So parry and heavy is the way to go, but you really want to try to break that armor. So here I brought in Medusa to try to get my armor breaks on, but it's pretty hard. What you can do too is parry heavy and then just do 3-hit combos, parry heavy, 3-hit combos. That'll help you out. You also don't want to hit into his shield when he's blocking because you will take damage back. back. We all know how that goes. So he can be kind of a pain in the butt here. Archangel, again, here we go. He does well here because you can just bleed him out. And then, so when if you get backed into the corner here, like I did with Starkey, when he's got his little defensive shield up for Oscillate, just chase him back to the other side of the map. He won't throw his special. So you can kind of get him on his side of the map and you'll be totally fine there. So, but he can be a pain in the butt. Oh, Omega Red is great for this. Corvus is actually perfect for this because you get the armor break on your heavy and you only ever really do 2 or 3 hit combos with Corvus anyways. So now, Omega Red, also speaking of Omega, he can kind of bypass the auto block with his tentacles. So if you run suicides, you can get that death field active and just kind of stand next to him, you know, get your spore action on when he's being all defensive like that. So Omega Red and Corvus are really good options for him, as well as Archangel. So if you have either of those 3 champions when you're coming into this month's EQ, you're going to be fine. Plus there is plenty of Corvus food along the way for this guy. So you can see there that Omega just kind of bypassed the auto block with his tentacles. And so, but overall, not really a hard fight, just kind of more of a pain in the butt. So now we're at the first new boss, and that is Mr. Fantastic, who has Champion Boost, Debilitate, Prey on the Weak. So Prey on the Weak basically nullifies a buff, and he gains power if the buff is nullified, expires, or is removed. He's got Heal Block, and he's got Stung Once, Twice Shy. So when you get a bar of power, you get a power sting on you, and then, you know, if you launch your special, you lose health. So no fun. And then he also has Spry. So each time he evades, he places a fatigue a fatigue debuff on you. I can talk. And then he's kind of like, you'll see here, the way he fights, he kind of reminds me of Kamala Khan's dad. Now, you see he's got some pre-fight abilities and they are not selected. So because they're not selected, all of his specials are going to be unblockable, and don't mind me taking pictures in here. I kind of want to do a more in-depth look at both Mr. Fantastic and Dr. Doom in a later video, so I'm just kind of gathering footage for later and didn't edit this part out because it's been a long day. So anyway, back to what I was saying. Since no pre-fight ability is selected here, all of his specials will be unblockable, but both of his specials, they're pretty easy to dodge, so you really don't have to worry too much about it. His one special's got one beam that comes out, so it's not too hard. But doesn't he kind of remind you of like Kamala Khan's dad? Like, no, talk to the hand. So I don't know, that's just kind of what he reminds me of. So, but he's kind of cool. So you can see there's the little beam that comes out, and then he kind of does almost like a little warlocky type move at you. All right, so here you're gonna notice something interesting that's part of his abilities, and it's excuse me, oh my gosh, it's called oh gosh, what's this thing called? It's called Careful Study. So you see I launched my special 2 here, and there's a little 2 debuff that popped up on me. So if I were to launch my special 2 again, my damage would be less effective by 25%. So Nick is great for this guy. He's not too hard. Both of his specials are easy to dodge, so you don't have to really worry about that. Archangel just wipes the floor with this guy. Now, Mr. Fantastic is definitely the easier of the 2 bosses. Now, if you are kind of worried about the evades, Archangel is great for this. Just get those neuros on him and, you know, you'll cancel that out. So if you have an Archangel, even if he's just a 550, that's all mine is, and he is just wiping the floor with a lot of these uncollected bosses. He's great for it. But if you are worried about the evade, you can always bring in an anti-evasion champ. You know, you can bring in Iceman. He's great for it. Just keep those cold snaps locked on him and you don't ever have to worry about him evading. Also, you could bring in Killmonger, get the True Strike going. So any champ with True Strike will help you out with that evade, but Ice Bro, he does pretty good here as well. Get that cold snap going. No more evades for you, Mr. Fantastic. So now we are moving on to what I like to call the main event, and that is Dr. Doom, and he's got a lot of stuff going on for him. He's got Enhanced Shock, Champion Boost, Enhanced Power Drain, Force of Will, Power Draw, which is actually kind of beneficial for you because when you place a damage over time debuff on him, you get a power gain buff. And then he's got this thing called Hazarath Rage, which is basically fancy for Special 2 bias, and Hazarath Vengeance. So when he's knocked down, so if you hit him with a special or you hit him with a heavy, he has a 50% chance to activate the Aura of Hazarath. Now, the Aura of Hazarath can't trigger if a slow debuff or a petrified debuff is added. So if you bring Cap Infinity War, I can talk. Cap Infinity War with a tech champ on your team. If you parry, you'll get a you'll get a petrify debuff. Or, you can bring in Void. Void's always good. Get those petrifies going. And then, of course, we've got She-Hulk and Spider-Gwen with the slow debuff. Now, the Aura makes his special twos well, not just his special twos, but they make both his specials unblockable, and they absolutely suck to evade, as you can see right there. So if he throws a special when that little green, symbol, it's not like a shield, I don't know what you want to call it, is active, they will be unblockable. So make sure that, you can try to, if you place a taunt debuff on, maybe get him to throw a special when that little green shield is not active. That would be great. Nick is really good for this because of all the damage over time debuffs. With all the bleeds that you get, Nick Fury gains power like crazy. So that's always good because then you can get up to your special 2, launch more bleeds, put more bleeds on him, which is always beneficial. Again, Archangel is really good for this. Now, I did fully evade that special 2 there with Nick, and I about lost my mind when I did it. But I do want to mention that for his special 2, that last beam is a double dash back. So if you're trying to evade it, do the double dash back for that last beam and you'll fully evade it. Now here we got Spider-Gwen getting, launching the heavies, getting the slow debuff on. No more Aura of Hazarath for you, mister. So that's another little workaround with it. Plus Spider-Gwen's got some pretty good damage and she can evade also. So, this is giving Spider-Gwen more utility, making her more beneficial, and she's pretty good after her buff, I do have to say. She-Hulk, which you'll see is also really good here. Ghost is another one because you can just phase right through those unblockable specials, gain your power, perfect. But here we have She-Hulk. Who says She-Hulk's ineffective after her nerf? I mean, we all saw MSD take down win the Beat the Boss challenge, but anyway, congrats, MSD. But She-Hulk here is great because she's quick to throw her heavies. You can get them backed in the corner. Once you get used to his animations, you can just constantly launch your heavy, keep that slow debuff on him. Now Thing is also really good for this too because of the protection factor. So if you do get into a jam, just launch your heavy, get your protection factor up, and you will take minimum damage. Plus Thing really, once you get those rock stacks converted into Furies, he hits like a truck. So he's great for not only dealing damage, but taking damage as well. He's a giver and a taker. What can I say? Everyone loves those kind of people. So, and if all else fails, Quake and Bake, baby. And maybe not quite like me, but if you can Quake, you have pretty much beat the game. So Quake is also really great for this because then you really don't have to worry about his specials going unblockable because he'll never gain a bar of power unless you're like me and you get punched in the face. So anyways, guys, that is it. That is all that I've got for this month's boss fights, all the bosses. I am going to be making a video going into the newer bosses a little more in depth, with their abilities and how to evade their specials and who are the best counters for them at a little bit of a later date. But that's all that I got, guys. Let me know in the comments below, have you gone through this month's new Uncollected event quest? Who did you use? Who did you find to be the most challenging boss this month? Let me know in the comments below and let's discuss. As always, guys, thanks so much for watching. If you guys liked what you saw and you want to see more, please remember to like and subscribe, follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and hit me up in the Discord chat. Thanks, guys. Bye.